to Farrington Nature Link's Nature at Home series. I'll be your host today. My name is Meg. I'm the program manager at Farrington. Farrington is a nonprofit. With the mission of enhancing the lives of children from low-income families through a connection with the natural world. And today, we'll be doing that through talking about some natural dyes. Ooh, not dyeing, not that kind of dyeing. Dyeing like materials, dyeing clothes, things like that. Great. So let's get started, shall we? Welcome to my kitchen. We got a whole bunch of jars and things about. I'm going to show you all of the different types of veggies and berries and things that we have been creating here in the kitchen. So a little bit about natural dyes. They are things that you find in nature. So it could be vegetables, it could be minerals, different kinds of rocks, could be bugs even, berries, things like that. So today I picked out, let's see, 1, 2, 3, I picked out 5 different things that we're going to talk about, and I'll show you the process of how I use them to dye. I have some cotton material from an old t-shirt and a little bit of wool yarn that we've been steeping in some of my jars here of different materials. So let's go through and see if you can name some of these things. All right, so here, jar A. I don't know if you can take a look at what's in here. Let's see if we can scoop some of this stuff out and take a look at that. What do you think that looks like? Green mush. This is actually, any guesses? It's a bunch of flowers. They're dandelions. So I went out and picked a whole bag's worth of dandelion blooms, or the flower, the yellow part. And I wonder what color our string and our fabric is going to turn if it steeps in dandelion dye. Maybe green, maybe yellow. We'll find out. Okay, the number, letter B. What is this orange stuff, you think? That looks like a pretty common one. Any guesses? Carrots. Carrots are really cool. What I like about the carrot is that the color goes all the way through the vegetable. So the coloring isn't just on the surface or the skin of the vegetable, it goes all the way through. What color do you think our fabric is going to turn when we use carrots? Orange. That's a good guess. Yellow, brown. We'll find out. Right. And C is some purple goo. What is that? I know, you think it's purple cabbage. It's actually called red cabbage, despite its purple appearance. When it's freshly picked, it looks like this, and it looks like very cool marbling inside. I really like it. So cool. Smells like cabbage. Smells like stew. Reminds me of St. Patrick's Day. Ooh, okay, let's move on to the next natural material. Oh, yes, red cabbage. Boop-a-da-boop. All right, D. Take a look at these. Is that a fruit? Is that a rock? What is it? They're a little squishy right now. Smells kind of nutty. These are avocado pits. So here in our kitchen, we go through a lot of avocados. So I've saved up maybe like 12 avocado pits over the last couple weeks. And we use that to create a color. What color do you think our fabric is going to turn if we use these avocado pits? They look kind of brown, right? So maybe brown, maybe pink, maybe yellow. Stay tuned, we'll find out. Okay, we're moving over to letter E. And we'll open this up and you can take a look inside. Oh yeah. All right, here. You can get a close up. What's inside that jar is a really pretty reddish purple color. You can see some of the berries floating at the top. What kind of berries do you think those are? Pink berry? It's a great yogurt shop. Blueberries, that's right. Very cool. All right, now is the exciting part. I want to figure out, oh, actually I skipped a part. So we're going to talk about 3 different types of natural dyeing. There are 3 different processes that one can use. There's one really simple one. It's called flour pounding. And why don't we start with that, and then we'll get into some of the different colors of the veggies that we used. So, and put a little space over here. So the way this works, I'm going to put on some eye protection so I look like I'm going fast. No, so to protect my eyes. And put these gloves in here. Alright, so this is an example of what I did yesterday, and I was able to make sort of the imprint of these flowers. This is an azalea. This is a dandelion. And the way that we pound out the coloring from the flower is we're going to cover it in wax paper and use our rubber mallet, boop, 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 and tap out the color. Let's see if we can recreate that today. But be careful when you're using heavy things. Make sure you're pounding on a surface that's really sturdy. Maybe do it outside. So let's get some fabric. I'm doing this on a cutting board to save the surface of our countertop. Alright, so this is just a piece of an old t-shirt, but it's a nice white background that we'll start with. And then here are some natural materials that I went out and collected this morning. And I thought we would try pounding some of these. So here, that is a dandelion leaf and a dandelion flower. We're going to put the flower side right down on the fabric. And then here is another azalea flower. So you're going to turn it over and put the flower down this way. We'll put all the little petals facing out, and then maybe we'll try one of these. Do you know what kind of flower this is? Forsythia. Very good. We have these blooming all over the backyard right now. Very happy and spring-like. All right, so then we'll put the petals down like that. It's okay if it's not perfect, and you can always come up with your design, and then we'll put some wax paper over it. So, got my wax paper. I'm just going to take a sheet like this. We're going to cover it over the flowers. Kind of press down a little bit to make it flat. This is the fun part. You're going to take the mallet, and then we're just kind of hammering out the color on the flower. Careful not to get your fingers, because that would hurt, right? We're pounding all around the edges of the flower here. Pounding on the leaf dandelion here. Then more on the azalea. And what we're doing is we're just trying to get the color pigmentation from the flower to transfer to our fabric. Alright, let's see how it turned out. We're going to lift our wax paper. Ooh. And sometimes the flower bits will stick, and that's okay. You can peel those off. Pretty cool! So you can see the forsythia has a nice sort of orangey yellow color, and we got some of the pinkish purple color from the azalea. The green of the leaf didn't really come out that much, but look at this dandelion, so cool. So that's one way that you can get some coloring from natural materials onto your fabric. And then another added detail you can do once this dries a little bit, so I did these yesterday, is that you can take a marker and you can draw some little designs. If you want to maybe do the outline of the flower, like this. Maybe you want to add a little smiley face to your flower, or add some little designs. Boop, boop, boop. These are leaves. It's a little bit tricky to draw on. Now it looks like a rabbit. Beautiful. So that's one type of transferring dyes onto some fabric. All right, we'll put these things away. All right, now we'll move on to some of the dyes that we have been brewing here. So depending on what type of natural material you're using, is going to depend how long you are boiling that vegetable. For example, with the avocado pits, I boiled these for about 2-ish hours, maybe a little bit more, meaning I had these in a pot with boiling water. They were on the stove. You bring it to a boil, you're going to let it simmer in there for 2 hours until it really turns the color of the water like a pinkish brown. And then you strain out all the little natural bits and pits, and then you put the liquid in a jar with the materials. So let me see if I can find here this one. So this is our avocado pits. I'm going to grab some tongs and we'll see. We'll see what our yarn and our fabric look like. So I'm taking it out. So this stuff has been sitting, it sat overnight for maybe, it's been in here for about 12 hours, I'd say. So I'm just squeezing out the extra liquid. And we'll take a look, and you can see, compared to this is just regular wool yarn that we got from the crafting store, and this is the color that the yarn turned after it sat in this liquid for a little bit. So it's sort of a light brown color. Depending on how big and how much skin your avocado pits have, it might turn into more of a pinkish color. But there are a lot of different things that are going to affect the actual color that comes out. Squeeze a little bit more out of this. So here, it's a piece of fabric. Again, this is just part of an old t-shirt. And so you can see, compared to the white t-shirt that we started with, it's much darker, the sort of light brown color. Something you might notice is that these colors, they seem a little bit more subdued, right? They're not like the bright neon orange or crazy tie-dye colors that you might see in the store nowadays. And that's because these are coming from natural materials, and when you're dyeing stuff with vegetables like this, there's actually a combination of different dyes and pigments that are inside these natural materials. And when you get a t-shirt at Target or something that has like super bright, crazy colors and patterns on it, those colors have been made by synthetic dyes. So dyes that have been made in a lab. So up until, if I remember my dates right, I think it was 1856 is when the first synthetic dye was invented. So before that, and for tens of thousands of years, people in different cultures all over the world were using natural objects to color their fabric. Very cool. All right, so that's our avocado. Move this over here. Let's check the cabbage. So here's our red cabbage. And again, this has been sitting overnight. So let's see. And you know what? I have 2 pieces of fabric in here, I think. So we'll see if we can separate these out. So we're just going to squeeze out that extra liquid. Smells like cabbage. So that is a consideration when using natural dyes. If you have questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below. So I left, all right, so this one, okay, this is my 1.5 hour piece of fabric. So I put that in this morning to see if there's a difference in color between one that I just put in this morning and one that I left overnight. Sometimes when people are using natural dyes, they'll prime the fabric, meaning they will put the fabric in a liquid mixed with a type of chemical or a mordant, which makes the natural dyes stick to the fibers of the fabric a little bit better. We did not do that this time. Oh man, check that out. It looks pretty similar. This might look a little bit darker, but it looks pretty similar in color. And compared to this shirt, you can see how much purple it got. This one looks a little bit lighter. Do it sort of in a little rainbow like that. And I think I have some string in here too. Kind of looks like grape juice, doesn't it? Oh man, I put a lot of fabric in this one. All right, let's pull out our yarn. Ooh, it is so mushy. Another great thing about natural dyes is that they wash off your hands pretty easily. But it also means they're going to wash out of your clothes. So if you are using natural dyes to color your fabric, make sure you are rinsing it in cold water and not hot water, otherwise the color is going to come out of it really quickly. Look how pretty that yarn turned out. It's like a lilac color. I really like it. It's very pretty. And why do you think people would use natural dyes to color things like yarn or string? That's right. This is back before there was Target and Walmart where you could just go and buy a shirt or buy a pair of pants. People would have to make them. So they would use the different fibers from, well, wool comes from sheep. So they would shear the sheep, boop, boop, boop. Take that wool, spin it into something that looks like yarn, and then they would color that yarn to be different so that they could make cool, naturally colorful clothes. All right, let's see. Let's move on. What else we got? We have... Let's look at the dandelion. All right. This here. All right. So let's pull out our yarn. And again, this sat overnight. And dandelions, fun fact about them is that you can eat every part of the plant, the root, the leaves, the flowers. If any of you watched our wildflower video last week and saw Will just munching on some dandelion flowers, people make tea out of dandelions. All right, so let's take a look at our yarn here. Oh yeah. So again, it kind of looks like an oatmeal brown, maybe a little bit of yellow tinge to it. And again, if we had left this for maybe a full 24 hours or a little bit longer, you might see a deeper hue or color. Let's see if we can find our fabric. Oh, there's a little flower. So let's wring out some of that excess water. Squeeze. Has anyone ever tried using natural dyes before? Let me know. Ooh, so cool. All right, so if we look at this, compared to our white t-shirt, it looks a little bit brown with a little bit of yellow tinged in there as well. Very cool. All right, so we'll put this here. So we have our avocado, our dandelion, our red cabbage. What else? What else did we do? Carrots! Alright, let's check the carrots. The carrots I only boiled for about half an hour when I made these. But they have a really pretty orange tinge to them. Alright, so I'll take out the yarn first. And why do you think we use two different materials to test it out? I mean, different types of fabric or natural fibers are going to have different properties that let the dyes stick to the yarn here. All right, let's take a look at that compared to our regular yarn. And it turned a little bit, again, just another shade of sort of yellowy light brown there. But you can definitely see the difference between the two. And then let's grab our, oh, I have the fabric I already took out. So this took out earlier. So this is the carrot fabric. We'll look at that compared to our white t-shirt. That's pretty cool. It looks pretty similar to the dandelion one, a little bit lighter. And it looks pretty close to the carrot one, again, a little bit lighter too. Neat. So that's a little bit about some of the dyes that we used using the stovetop method. And I can show you, this is some of the red cabbage left over from last night. So we put it in a big pot and put a bunch of water in it. We boiled this. This I only boiled for about 30 to 40 minutes, I think. And then we were able to scoop out and strain out some of this liquid. Let's see it here. It's like this really pretty purple color. Smells like cabbage though. I don't think I want to drink that. All right, we have one more way. Oh, and then this, I just put this whole t-shirt in the cabbage juice. Tried to do a little tie-dye action here. So I scrunched it up and I put rubber bands on it. Made sort of a cool pattern there. It does smell like cabbage though, so that is a drawback to the natural dyeing here. But again, if you rinse this out in cold water, it should maintain some of its color. But 2 to 3 washes, most of this coloring is going to come out, especially if you're using hot water. Or like a temporary dye, if you will. Okay. This looks so pretty. I'm so pleased with how this all came out. Alright, let's see. Oh, and then we have one more. Our blueberries. So our blueberries, I didn't use the stovetop for this one. What do you think? What's another heat source that people could use if they didn't have a stove? A fire? Maybe. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm getting a call. Hello? Oh, Ori? Where are you? You're at Farrington. Ah, that explains. I was looking all over for you this morning. You'll be back next week. Okay, all right. Well, thanks for letting me know. Yes, I'll tell everybody on Facebook. Okay. 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 Okay, bye. Sorry about that, friends. Just didn't know where Ori was, but good thing he called me on my banana phone. He's over in Lincoln. We'll see him next time. All right, where were we? Blueberries. So I didn't use a stove, didn't use a fire, didn't use a microwave. Did I use coffee? No, didn't use coffee. I used the sun. And it was nice and sunny here yesterday. So I thought I would put some water and some blueberries out in the sun and wait a day and see what our fabric turned out like. Typically, people would leave these jars out or containers out for like 3 to 5 days, maybe a whole week. Didn't have a whole week of sunny weather. It's been a little rainy here in New England. But we did have one really bright sunny day, so I thought I would try it out. Okay, so let's see if I can grab our yarn. Ooh. Out of here. Oh man, it's a big piece of yarn I used. Ah! Dropped it. It's like the world's longest piece of spaghetti. Alright, so we are going to squeeze out some extra juices here. And let me know if you have questions, what it smells like, if I'm going to eat the blueberries later, probably not. What I'm going to do with all this natural material afterwards, let me know. Alright. So, running out of room here. We'll shift some of these up. This is a pretty nice side-by-side comparison. So you can see compared to our regular wool yarn here, it has this sort of like nice pink hue to it. I really like it. And I know you might think that the blueberries were gonna look blue. It's actually turning out to be a little bit more purpley pink. Alright, let's squeeze out some extra liquid here, and we'll take a look at what our fabric looks like. This one looks really pretty. Ooh, look at that color. So, I know, this almost looks like a real color that you might find a t-shirt if you go to the store. So this is just blueberries and water in a jar for a day in the sun. But look at this really pretty purpley magenta-y color. You know what color this reminds me of? It reminds me of these azalea. Look at that, they're pretty close, aren't they? How neat is that? Making connections. So cool. Alright, so a little quick review here. Let's see if we can remember all the different types of materials we used. So this first one was our avocado. Yep, these are our avocado pits. And then these were our dandelion flowers. This one, you remember what it is? The red cabbage, that's right. It's a nice pretty purple color. What about this yellowy orange one? This was our carrots. This really pretty deep color, this was blueberries out in the sun. And this is just a white t-shirt and some off-white yarn. That's where we started. So this is just using stuff that we were going to compost anyway, but we were able to extract the dyes from those items and put them into fabric. So, I don't know, some uses you might use. You can tie-dye a t-shirt, you can use it on a pillowcase, napkins, a scarf, things like that. I wouldn't recommend using a really dark color to try and use these dyes with, because you're just not going to really see them show up very well. So using a light colored t-shirt, bandana, things like that, and then using these natural materials, you'll have a whole rainbow of colors. Any questions or comments about any of the stuff we did today? How did I get so many jars? It's a great question. We just have lucky to live in a house where we have lots of jars that I can use. Were my roommates complaining about the cabbage smell? Not too much. Not too much. Maybe,
No complaints.
no complaints. Oh, thank you, Fox. No complaints over the cabbage smell. And so now all these natural materials, I'm going to compost them. So there's the dandelions, the carrots, the cabbage, and even these. These are nice and squishy because they've absorbed a lot of water now. So they're not hard. They're kind of pliable and squishy. Cool. Well, that's about all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining me from Farrington Nature Links Nature at Home series. I'm Meg. I'll be back next week, Monday at 11 o'clock and Thursday at 11 o'clock. Check out our Facebook page, our Instagram page. We have lots of nature-related activities and videos for you to watch on our website as well. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Bye!